Hello, everyone. I'm Percy number 6. Yes, we are yet again having another episode of Percy's Ever Present Past. Man, I should have checked this right before I started, but I'll do it as I'm talking. I think we're at episode number 15. I feel like I left off at lucky number, or did I say 15? I meant 15 if I didn't. But I feel like the last time I did community radio was I left at 13. Yes. 13 with Easy Coldie, then I had 14 with the Mr. MPS 2002, and now today is my 15th episode of Percy's Ever Present Past. And today, my guest is the creator of Quest 89, Nick TF89. How are you doing today, Nick?
I'm pretty good.
Oh,
Hey
that
guys.
good to hear. Good to hear. I got a lot to ask you. We'll get to your series in a second, but first, I like to hear the origins of people. So let's ask that. You joined November 18th, 2012. Looking at your Wikipedia page right now, but it shows that's when you joined. You started making videos in 2013. So let's hear the story about that. What made you decide to create your channel and get into the community?
Well, originally I didn't do Thomas at first. I started off with Lego content, specifically Bionicle videos filmed on my phone. Like, I had a little series going with these two characters that just kind of, it was like a slice of life kind of thing. They'd always go around having wacky adventures. And I did like a season of that, and then a short movie, and eventually I got into stop motion, and then TWR content, kind of like the old Thomas Wooden Railway or Key Gray videos, just on a carpet, with a layout and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That was called the Thomas Chronicles. I think
Okay.
it went on for like 8 episodes, but I stopped doing that and moved on to another project, which is my main series.
Oh wow! So you got into your Quest 89 series relatively quick in your YouTube career, right?
I think it was like September 2013 I started
So
season 1. Yeah.
so yeah, just about a year after you made your channel. So that's pretty good. Let's we might come back to questions about your channel, but I really want to get into your series Quest 89 because I was looking through it the other day. It's got to be one of the most unique series, and obviously you've put a lot of time and thought into the characters and
I
in.
like to think that. I don't know. A lot of it was kind of made up on the fly in the early years, but like
Mhm,
once, like now, I kind of have a continuity for everything, and
mhm.
it's coming together. So
Well, if you watch a lot of my videos for the people listening, you know I talk about the wiki a lot when I do a video like this, but I'm not alone with the wiki. Nick has his own wiki, Quest 89, and it's an impressive wiki. I'll throw that in the description of the video. But anyway, like, he has. What really drew me when I was looking at your wiki was the characters that you've chosen to be a part of the series. So, like, the main ones are probably Connor, Rival Hugh Lady, and 089. So,
yes,
I
somebody said his name properly. Thank you.
you are welcome. So let's get into it. Of those four characters, let's start. We'll go one by one, so you're not uh, jumping from one to the other. Let's Connor. What made you decide for Connor to be such a huge part within this series?
I was in Toys R Us and I found a wooden railway Connor, and I thought it was cool.
That's simple, really.
I mean, he's my favorite color. I love his color scheme, and his design is really cool. New York Central Hudson.
Hmm.
I've like found out more information about that over time, of course. But King of the Railway was coming out, and Connor like was just interesting to me, and I was kind of let down because they didn't really do much with him in the movie. So I kind of wanted to do my own thing with him.
Hmm.
But like I said, he's my favorite color, and I love his design. And
Hmm.
I don't know, I think he just looks cool.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Wow. I mean, that's pretty cool. Like, I was expecting like this huge. I mean, I guess Connor's a pretty new character, so there's not gonna be like this huge backstory. Like, oh, I had Connor as a kid. It's only been out a few years. But
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense. That's pretty cool. And he's got his own tender now.
Well, he always had his own tender because he was a tender engine, but the tender that he had, season 1 and
Hmm.
before that was um lost. So he currently has a replacement tender.
Yes. So
It's
what?
not as fun as the other one. It's not as flashy.
No, but it's something I give you credit there because I really haven't seen anybody else throughout the Thomas Wooden Railway community do something like that, replace the tender of an engine. It's those little details, you know.
Who knows how long that's going to last? It doesn't look very stable or well
Hmm.
made, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to Ivo Hugh now. I know you made him into standard gauge instead of narrow. What A made you decide to go that route, and B, what made you want Ivo Hugh to be such a large part in your series?
um, I think I was like 9 or 10. I got a lot off of eBay. I don't know, 8, 9, 10, something like that. And it contained the Magic Railroad set, Ivo Hugh and the Zoo Cars, Bulgy, George, a ton of old stuff, and like things I'd never seen before. And Ivo Hugh was always a mystery to me. I
Hmm.
didn't know how to use the internet properly. I knew he was from the Railway series, but I didn't know he was part of the Skarloey Railway. So when I put him in my series, I'm like, oh, he's just a standard gauge engine.
Okay.
And people always ask me, like, oh, why is he standard gauge? That doesn't make any sense. Like Ivo Hugh is part of the Skarloey Railway. Well, in my series, that's not him. The Ivo Hugh that we see is a different character altogether. Narrow gauge Ivo Hugh does not exist. His role is taken by Fearless Freddy,
Oh,
like
wow.
the TV series,
Yep.
basically.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty. I when I was looking through the wiki and looking at your videos, it's like now it makes sense why Ivo Hughes with everyone, and beyond that, it's like yeah, that's you don't. That's another thing. You either see people just flat out put all the engines together, but not as much anymore. Usually, it's they
Yeah,
separate them narrow and standard gauge. So to change it up and move one, I mean, it would make sense for Ivo Hugh too, since he's never been on the television show.
there's literally nothing to him. I don't even think he's had a single speaking role in the
Mm-mm.
Railway series. So
No.
he's fun. A lot of him was inspired by like Cars 2 because I was really into that movie at the time I was making the series.
Hmm.
So I gave him this whole secret agent thing, and to an extent, he still has that. I mean, obviously, it's a huge part of his backstory, but he's like no longer an agent as of season 2.
Okay.
So
Oh, nice, nice. Well, let's move on to Lady now. So, Lady's again one of your main characters in your series. What made you decide to take Lady, who's only been in the Magic Railroad and a small cameo in Calling All Engines? She's had a small role throughout her time in Thomas. What made you decide to make her one of your main characters?
well, she's not necessarily a main character now. I mean, she's like working her way into the cast of main characters. She's always kind of been, I wouldn't say in the background, but always like a recurring character
Mm-hmm.
in season 2 and 3. But as of season 4, with the things that have happened, the characters, our main group, are coming closer together, and her and Iva will definitely be taking the spotlight. So, let's see. Lady's role has always been kind of, I guess, weird, like something that I haven't seen many people do. A lot of people that do shipping, I don't want to get into shipping that much in this call. I don't know how many people like or dislike it, but
Yeah, me
a lot
either.
of people ship her with Thomas, and I, of course, in my series, like she is shipped with Zero or 089.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she flat out states that she's his girlfriend in one episode, and then it's just like never touched on again. Um,
Yeah.
like they are a thing, but like I don't explain how shipping works. It's just left up to the audience's interpretation.
Okay.
But she is a magical engine, like how it is in Magic Railroad, and she has lots of powers, and she's very powerful and whatnot. But we haven't seen her use any of that yet. She
Oh.
has been in a couple fights though, so
Mm-hmm.
she's working her way up there into the main cast.
Well, that's good to hear. And I don't want to say finally because there's a few others I want to at least touch on, but let's talk about the one that's essentially your channel name, 089. You got a few customs here. I'd say he's probably the top of the list for your customs though. So what made you well what's the backstory and your thoughts on 089 as a character?
Top the list of the customs. He's not that good. I made a utility van that looks better than his current model.
Well, the way I mean is like in terms of your story, like he's one of the top characters of your
Yeah,
customs you
yeah.
made. Hmm.
Do you mean like his character's backstory or like me creating him?
Both.
Okay, let's dig up this can of worms. when I first was on the Thomas Wiki, and I didn't know what Ivo was, but I was still on the Wiki. I was 2012, and I was getting into YouTube and everything. I found the like untold story of Timothy creepypasta or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and I did some digging on it, and obviously it's engine number 0. But there was like one comment or one source somewhere that like said it was number 89, and I didn't know what it was, if it was 0 or 89, and I made like a page for it in the Thomas Wiki because I thought it was real, of course, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just the story. And like I got into arguments with people, and it was like, no, it's real. And it's like, no, it's not. It's just a fake story. It's like, oh, okay then. Um, that's embarrassing. And I eventually decided to put him in my series as like the good version of Timothy, except I never even touched upon Timothy until like very recently. So the
Mhm.
idea of him was just like a good E2, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I put the two numbers together, 0 and 89, and
Mhm.
eventually I touched on that as well.
So I think I know the answer to this, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. So your channel name, TF89, Nick TF89, is what came first, the engine or the name, or the channel name?
Well, originally my name was. Sorry, I'm coughing.
You're good.
Originally the name was Kongu Mari, which was the name of my main character in my Bionicle series. And then I changed the name to rebrand to Thomas stuff. I made a good decision, and I changed the name to Thomas Fan.
Just Thomas
All
fan.
lowercase, all lowercase, one space, just Thomas Fan. Eventually, I added an 89 when I had, like, I think it was season 1 or 2 of my series. I added the 89 there. And I found somebody else also had Thomas Fan 89 as username. So I just rebranded to Nick TF89 because
Mhm.
I was using, like, my actual name when I was talking in videos at that point. So I just made it short and simple.
Okay. Makes sense, makes sense. Definitely. You're far from one of the first people to change their channel name, that's for sure.
I've had, like, 5 names.
Yeah, some people end up having a lot. I guess the next character I want to ask you is Brad because I was looking through his page and you were saying how you weren't necessarily the original creator of the character, but now it's gonna take your own swerve for how you think the character is.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, well, what's who helped? How did it work with creating him? And then ultimately, when did you kind of decide, all right, I'm gonna give him more of a role that I want than that former creator had?
Season 1 was over. I was talking to people, like, attempting to, like, Skype and making friends. And one of the people I talked to was a user called Owen Thomas. I believe their name is different now. I don't know if they're still active or not. I haven't talked to them since last year. But
Mm-hmm.
after I made Quest 89, like season 1, they started making a series called Saving the World, where Brad was the main character. And I voiced somebody named Justin. The main cast was Brad, Justin, Charlie, and Boko. It was like 4 characters trying to do good, like my series a little bit. And at
Mm-hmm.
one point, he asked if Connor and Ivo could make an appearance in his series, and I said, like, yeah, sure. I don't own the rights to Connor and Ivo, but if you want to make it like the Quest 89 versions of them, then sure. And then
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, since you're doing that, can I have Brad appear in my special, The Origins of 089? And he's like, yeah, sure. And eventually, I brought Brad back in season 2 to like fulfill the role that his character was
Mm-hmm.
made for. And now that Connor and Ivo are back in the environment that Brad works in, he's kind of taking focus a bit more. And Owen Thomas's series kind of ended, I believe,
Okay.
and there's been nothing else with Brad. And I asked, like, hey, Brad kind of still exists in my universe. Can I just do whatever I want with him? And he's like, yeah, sure. So I've kind of done my own thing with him.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool backstory to him. So I guess the last two characters I'll talk, and then I kind of want to get into your seasons. Thomas and Percy.
Are you looking
They're
at, like, the main page that
I
has, like, all the characters listed?
yes I am.
Okay.
So those are the last two I think I'll bring up. Unless there's one you want to bring up that I haven't yet. But
Yeah, I think Thomas and Percy are good choices. They
oh,
were originally the main characters in season 1 before they kind of took a back seat in season 3.
all right, because yeah, I wanted to ask about that because especially Thomas, I was looking at his page and I saw I think it was his page where he wasn't one of your favorite characters as a kid, so but you still put him as a main character. So is it just because it was a Thomas series and you kind of felt like obligated to have Thomas in? Is that why you kept
I
him in?
mean, I liked Thomas as a kid, but like I grew up with season 6 and 7, and then eventually seasons 8, 9, 10, all that stuff.
Hmm.
And like it kind of just became boring after a while, seeing him all the time. Like I'd always get excited when Salty or Diesel or Cranky or anybody else would show up in the episodes.
Yeah.
I guess kind of oversaturated, but I still liked him.
Hmm.
Al- Also, I'm sorry you're picking from the top row. Like all these characters' pages are in desperate need of editing.
Well,
Um,
I haven't like I did like a week or two ago. I was looking through your wiki, so I think I went through everybody on your main page, and I haven't when we've been talking since we started. I haven't gone into any of their pages, so it's just stuff I remember from looking at the pages. Uh,
okay.
but so kind of similar for Percy too. Then how you not how you viewed Thomas, but I guess how you used him as a character in your series, if that makes sense.
Um, when Connor first goes to Sodor, the first people that he runs into are Thomas and Percy,
Hmm.
and they just kind of tag along on his adventure. And that kind of makes sense. You know, if Thomas is going, then Percy is too, because they're best friends
Yep.
and whatnot.
Hmm.
And, like, I still like Percy as a character. I mean, he will be returning to the series. I mean, he didn't leave. He was in his most recent appearance is episode 29,
Okay.
and we haven't seen him since because, well, the focus is not on Sodor, but once I'm trying to not spoil things, but once Sodor is in the focus again, we definitely will be seeing a lot more Percy.
Okay. That's great. Well, I think now we can kind of transition from your engines to your seasons. I just kind of want to hear, your behind the scenes and or thoughts as you were making each of these seasons. So we'll start with season one. I know of your seasons as this is by far like the quickest one you put out. Kind of like
Oh
everybody's
boy,
early content. I mean, like
season one.
My before I deleted my channel the first time, I opened it September 2008, and I deleted it like middle of July 2009. So like I was only on for like 9 or 10 months at that point, and I
Yeah,
got six. I was I think on my sixth season when I ended it. So so
dang.
so like that's just how it is sometimes. You start out your series and you're like, it doesn't have to be the super high quality. I'm really enjoying this. I'm just gonna keep filming. But all that said, your first season. So when you were making it, what were your thoughts? Any behind the scene fun facts that would be neat to know?
Uh, I'm trying to think because that was way back. I'm on the episode 1 page right now, and it's like one of the only pages that doesn't need editing, episode wise. Episode 1, October 5th, 2013. Episode 10, December 20th, 2013. I'm still like blown away by that. I mean, the episodes aren't that good, but like the fact that I was able to make an entire season in essentially 2 months, like I'm still impressed by that. Now it's like, I might get an episode out this year, maybe.
Right. It changes.
um,
It really does when you start making it high quality and everything.
yeah, that's the thing. Like that's kind of my biggest fear is I'll never be able to finish this because like I'm going so slowly now.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, I guess with your first season, like when you were making it, like the plots and everything, did you have like a huge plan already set, or is just kind of like I feel like a lot of people's first seasons are? It's like we're just gonna film and see what happens.
yes and no. Like I had the idea that Connor crashes and then he goes to Sodor and eventually they find 089, which was different back then. I remember once like Jay Louvier did a review on that like Fix Me Up Steven. And I'm like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, this will be seen in my series, an episode blank coming on blank. That never happened.
Oh
I
boy.
don't know. It was originally going to be like a 10 season show, like 10 episodes each.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds kind of crazy, 100 episodes, but like you have to think that episodes were, I don't know, about 7 minutes long back then,
Yeah.
and were around this quality. And like
Mm-hmm.
the whole story of them finding Zero would be like the whole series basically, instead of just Act One.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like looking back on the story, I'm still like kind of satisfied with it. I will remaster it eventually, but yeah, it's fine. It's not totally unwatchable, but it is very bad.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like your series. There's been enough episodes. You can start from episode one and like binge watch it or whatever. And it's at least from my point of view, looking at people's older content to their current, it's fun to see like where they started. Like I was uh this weekend, I saw Wooden Railway only in Mr. MPS 2002, and we were talking about, not to get off topic. I'm getting off topic, but we were talking about seeing people's series go from like where their first episodes were to their end. And I personally think it's really cool to see the progress people make in the series.
Yeah, like back then, you'd see all the shadows on the walls and the backdrop because the backdrop would be like a foot away from the set,
Mm-hmm.
and you could see like I don't know. I think once or twice I dropped the camera and I just keep going. I didn't have scripts back then. I just kind of like had a rough idea of where the dialogue would go
Mm-hmm.
in the scene, and the thing about season one was like voice actors is a big behind the scenes thing.
Yeah.
Episode 4, like I wanted to hire voice actors. Like you look at the opening credits, there's all these people that are credited, but some of them don't even show up. Like
Really?
Thomas, like what's his? I think it's like Taj or something.
Oh
Thomas
yes,
Edward
Tosh.
Henry Gordon,
Yes,
like
that
that.
guy.
You know
His
him?
yes,
Like
his
I asked
username
him.
is every letter of like the first 11
Yeah,
engines.
yeah.
But yeah, but he was. Did he voice for you then?
I think I asked him to voice Butch, and like I think he might have agreed to it, but like we never even got back to each other on it. So like his name's in the credits, but he never. Um,
He never did
and
it.
then yeah,
Okay. Well, let's move on to season two then. Season two, same amount of episodes, and it took you a little bit longer this time to get all of it out. But season two, what was different between season one, season two, and any other thoughts?
between seasons 1 and 2, I took like a bit of a break, and I did like some gaming videos, which yeah, that don't you can't. I would say don't watch them, but you can't because they don't exist anymore. I did like other content and just kind of took a break in general.
Hmm.
When I went back to it, I did like episodes 11 and 12, and there was a break. Uh, then I had an idea of what I wanted to do with the story, and it took off, and I'm still satisfied with the end product.
Okay, good.
Again, there's still a lot of problems, but I love it so much more than season 1.
Hmm.
Like,
Definitely.
it kind of is like when people ask like about my series, it's like season 2 is the meat and potatoes so far.
It's kind of when it starts taking shape, right?
Yeah, it's where everything takes off.
Hmm. Well, let's just keep going down the train. We'll go to season three. I think season three is really. I mean, I think this is where you're. I can't think of all the episodes of season two off the top of my head, but I think especially season three, like you really see the storylines in place. You really see the quality. Really take that next leap. So season three, it took you a little bit longer than the first two seasons.
A little bit, just a tad bit longer.
Well, let's see. I'm on your page. It shows your first episode was uploaded August 5th, 2015, and your final episode of the season was uploaded August 22nd, 2017. So just over 2 years to finish season three.
On the season 3 page on my wiki, it says August 5th, 2015 to the present, implying it's still being uploaded. I gotta fix that. But yeah, episodes 21 through 26, it was almost weekly, like season 1. Then my computer went through some trouble. It got splashed, I believe, and just didn't work at all. So there was like 2 months where I didn't have my computer.
Hmm.
And then I wanted to upgrade my set, and like I took down the wallpaper, and it kind of got destroyed. So I wanted to fix that, of course. So the set table changes, which is why there's a huge difference in quality between Chase and Point Part 2 and Smudger. Also, Smudger is a weird episode because originally episode 27 was going to be called Payday, and it was going to show the aftermath of Chase and Point. And I don't remember all the reasons I changed it. Like, I remember filming scenes for it, but like, I think it was my mom got mad because at one point, like, a character says, "What the H happened here?" in the promo for it.
Uh-huh.
Nowadays I don't care about that. Like, if there's a situation, a character will say a strong word, but that was back then. I was a bit younger, and so the episode was changed to be an episode about like the aftermath of episode 26 from the Skarloey Railway's point of view, because I mean, two of their engines were kind of put out of commission, so plus the original episode 27 would have been pretty dark anyways. So
Yeah.
well,
it happens. But yeah, I think season 3 it did take you a little bit, but I think you did a very good job with season 3, and it moves you right into season 4, which is what you're currently working on now.
Season 4.
It looks like from your Wikipedia page you have season 4 being a little bit longer than your previous seasons.
A couple episodes longer.
So what's the game? Like right now you're in the middle of your first episode, A Tale of Two Trains for the season. But what's the game plan for season 4?
Well, episode 31, Tale of Two Trains, is extremely long. It's very strenuous. I wanted to get this out since like 2016, and it's almost done. And once I'm done with that, we get into episodes that are going to be shorter, probably around the 20-25 minute mark instead of these 45 to possibly 70-minute episodes, depending on how long part 3 is.
Yeah.
And get into the story because the cast has grown very large, like all the characters I'm juggling. And there is a lot happening, especially given the aftermath and the ending of episode 30. There's so much to cover, and major events have happened to the characters and things. And I've already brought this up sometimes, but like Connor and Ivo Hugh don't even know half of what happened in season 3 happened, so that's going to be a huge like culture shock for them.
Yeah.
But essentially, seasons 1 through 3 is 30 episodes, and then season 4 itself is 30 episodes. And season 5 was going to be that too, but I can't do that, so I shortened it to 13 episodes because season 5 is its own thing. So essentially, seasons 1 through 2, and I guess part of 3 is Act 1, then season 4 is Act 2, and 5 is Act 3.
Okay.
But yeah, season 4 is massive.
So you're still gonna go with 30 episodes for the season. I'd love to hear when's your ballpark idea of when you'll get all 30 done.
Oh, I don't even want to think about that. Right now, I'm a senior in high school, and so that means I'd probably have to go to college in the fall of 2020, and there's like 4 years gone right there.
Yep.
And then I'd have to get a job, of course. But that stuff, like, kind of scares me a little. Like, it'll keep me up at night sometimes thinking, like,
oh, really?
Will I be able to finish this? Yeah, but, like, I don't know. Enterprising Engine is, like, almost 30 or something, and he's still making content. And I'm like, well, I can do this.
That's true. You just take, maybe try and get one episode a year done when you're in college. Get one done and start work on your second one, each year. Then you're not completely, then you at least have some things up, and then after college, depending on what you're doing and how free you are, then you just, bam, try and get it all done.
Yeah, like one episode a year. I'm gonna hopefully not have that anymore. I was just really busy. Like last year was a bizarre year for me altogether, and I was also busy, but 2017 was also busy. But in that year, I did get out like 29 and 30. So like the last part of 29.
Yeah, that's pretty big. Get both of those episodes out, your last 2 of the season. That's pretty big to finish.
But the thing is, like, the episodes are so long. Like, 29 was 45 minutes, I believe, and 30 is
Mm-hmm.
also... No, 30 is 45 minutes. I don't know how long
Mm-hmm.
29 is, but 31 is massive. And then
Mm-hmm.
after that, the scale kind of gets dialed down a bit, and the episodes are going to be... I wouldn't say self-contained, because they all are, like, an arc, but the episodes will be shorter, because
Mm-hmm.
we're only tackling a couple, like, one or two plot points.
Yeah. Gotta ask, so you got total your series will be 73 episodes. What episode are you to for finishing scripts? How far are you into your scripts?
Wait, you said 70? Oh,
I,
yeah, that is 73. It's not 63. I'm bad at math.
you're good.
Um, well, scripts are fun. I kind of procrastinate a lot with those.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have tons of ideas, and in my head I know exactly where everything's going to go, but I don't know, I'm just kind of bad at scripts. Currently, I'm almost done writing the script for episode 41,
Oh wow,
so I'm 10 episodes ahead.
that's pretty good. That's really
But,
good.
yeah, but before scripts, there's obviously outlines, like an
Yep.
outline of the plot, like all the ideas listed down. And most recently, last night I was working on the outline for episode 58.
Oh really? Oh wow.
58, 59, and 60, like, I'm so excited for. But they're probably not going to come out for another 10 years, so...
Yeah, unfortunately.
That's always the joke I have with my friend, the Cedric Legend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, I got my episode out this year. Where's yours? Because we both take forever.
That's what you have to do. You gotta balance between quantity and quality. So you go for the high quality story, high quality visuals, and unfortunately that might mean you're not getting out 10 episodes in 2 months like you did season one.
Not to mention, there's also the Meet the Characters shorts,
Oh
which is
yes.
kind of like its own season, which I'm
Hmm.
also doing.
Is that just kind of reasoning? What was your thoughts behind making the meet the character shorts?
To make some of the episodes not as long.
Good
It
point.
takes place between episodes 30 and 31 for
Okay.
most of them,
Hmm.
but there's also like flashbacks and showing pivotal points in characters' lives to give like a starting point for the arcs, because half of the shorts are for the human characters, which I haven't really touched upon as much as the engines, because they've only been in the series for one season.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
shorts for Ivo, Hugh, Connor, Connor and Lady are out, and then I'm working on the other ones. The General Phoenix short should be coming out any month now.
Okay.
Only have one more scene left to film for that.
Hmm. So we're in the middle of September at this point, so we only got 3.5 months left. But do you think where do you think you'll be by the end of the year? Do you think you'll have Tale of Two Trains done and your next episode done, or just Tale of Two Trains? Or if you had to guess, if you were a betting man, where do you think you'd be at?
Well, I'm gonna say I'm gonna have a Tale of Two done by the end of the year. Right here, right now, to hold myself accountable for it.
Uh-huh.
I'm looking at the folder on my computer right now. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scenes left to film, and then reshoots for one more.
Okay.
Then sending out lines to editing. I've already sent out lines to like one person. I don't know why I did just one, but I'm going to send out lines for everybody else like as soon as possible, because people can take time for lines depending on what else they have going on in their lives.
Mhm.
So like by the time they send the lines back, I'm always either like filming the last scene, so I can just get started editing right then and there.
Yep. Oh, that's good. That's good. So I guess we've kind of already touched it, so there might not be too much here, but we'll bring it back and talk about your channel as a whole, not just Quest 89. But I guess what's your future plans right now look like for your channel, and I guess your series as well too.
Well, I try and do like one remake per year, just because I always like remakes, but I don't do them that much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like watching other people's remakes, but I've always wanted to remake certain episodes. I'm part of a Races, Rescues, and Runaways collab
Okay.
right now. I have no idea what's happening with it because there's been like no talk on the messages or anything. But I'm remaking Horrid Lori for that, and I'm editing the remakes this week, so it should come out soon.
Okay.
Horrid Lori remake. Another collab I'm in is Top Secret. I cannot say anything about it, but it should be out in October or November.
Okay.
And it's, yeah. And then after that, I don't think I'm going to do any more remakes, at least not for a very long time, because I want to focus, like, all I can on my series, so.
Don't blame you. Because I'm looking at your page right now, your season 4, and made me think of this. I see you have 3 writers there, so 2 people besides yourself. So how does that work? How's the writing process?
Oh yeah, there are 3 writers. Well, one of them, Timothy Kippers, was all over the GW engine, or all over the jams. I have no idea if they're still in the community or not, but they helped writing episode 34 and 35, because they liked Brad at the time.
Okay.
Man, that was a long time ago. That was written in, like, 2016.
Oh, man.
And then also Sudrine Engine is credited. That's no longer their name. They're the Duke of Sodor, or Dookie, I believe. Yeah. He's helped me a couple times with a few episodes and given me ideas for characters and whatnot.
Okay.
I should also probably credit the Sudric Legend. They've helped out a bit here and there.
Okay, that's pretty. That's pretty good to have the help. The most I did was one little bit of my series. Ted helped me out for a little bit, but that's I'm sure it's helpful at least a little bit to have some right, even if it's not for every episode. Probably helps just a little.
It's kind of me writing every episode, but I would like to get help with some of them, or at least have people read over them, and say like, does this make sense or whatnot.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't hurt to have somebody read over them, and make sure it all makes sense. Well, beyond all that though, I don't know. It was nice to hear about your series. I gotta say, I think your series is definitely one of the best in the community. And unfortunately, I think I think we just need more eyes on it. If you ask me, I think it's good.
Yeah. I mean, I never say it. I've never said this, but I do feel like it is kind of like a series not many people have seen. I wouldn't say underrated because that kind of makes me sound like, I guess, entitled or like give me attention or something. But yeah, I do feel like not many people have seen it.
I think usually I don't know when was part 2 of Tale of Two Trains released?
It was part 1 was in May and part 2 was July.
Okay, so
and I want to get part 3 out in like October.
Okay, so it's probably, I guess I was thinking it was right after that one came out, but usually it's like, maybe I was just going through the wiki one day. I've been doing that a lot lately, and it's like, I was looking at the series, because unfortunately I think in this community not too many people make series anymore or take the time to make series.
I've noticed that. I feel like not many people are doing their shows now, or like me, it's taking a very long time, and they're always overshadowed by other projects, by bigger users, or maybe there's just other series that like people are making right now, but we've just never seen it or talked about it much.
Yeah, I mean that could be it. And the thing is, a lot of like, there's not as many people making series. They've either just people don't, their series never work out, or they finally reach the ending point. Like Milk Tanker Media, I think of him. He is technically still working on a series, but college has not given him the time to keep working on it. So there's been a long gap since his last episode.
Yeah, he was one of my inspirations way back when, and I've always liked his series. But like, I'm always confused. Like, is he doing a season 4? Because he said something about it once. But
from what I understand and reading the wiki and stuff, I believe he is. I think he wanted to do something this summer, and it must have not worked out or whatnot. But I think it's kind of on hiatus until he can film again, which who knows when that will be. But I gotta say, I think it's just I was probably looking through the series page one day and stumbled upon yours again, and it's like every time I look at your series, you definitely put a lot of quality time into the writing process and the filming process of it, and uh, I definitely, for the people watching who might have not checked your series out, I definitely would recommend going watching it. I mean, they're longer episodes, but you don't have a lot, and it takes time between the episodes, so it won't take you too long to catch up, if you know what I mean.
Not all of them are super long, just like the recent ones.
Hmm.
The ones that you can actually sit through are very
Hmm.
long.
I remember I did towards the end of Study and Conflict. I think there's like one or two episodes left. I'm like, let me try and check this all out. So like I took, I watched a few a day because the first ones were shorter, and then once it got longer, it'd be like one a day. So I think that's what I'll be doing with your series. I hope other people do it too. I think I really appreciate seeing people put all the time and work into coming up with the storylines like you have. So besides all
Yeah,
that, I don't know.
not to pat myself on the back, but I think my series is very unique because it doesn't have the words Thomas Wooden Railway or Thomas and Friends in the title.
Yeah, yeah, and you did yours early on, like for quite some time. Everybody had something to do with Thomas Wooden Railway or just Thomas in general in their title.
Yeah, I made mine at like a very weird time, like a kind of like a dead spot or like a time where um, things were a little, I guess, different, or
Hmm.
there wasn't as much fan content at the time.
Yeah,
Like it
well,
all
what
revved up eventually, and now it's kind of simmered down a bit. But there
20
are still a lot of good projects coming out
20?
this year, especially.
Yeah, I mean 2013 was a very slow year in the community, so you're right. I mean, I remember Ted and I talked about that. It was very slow. Nothing was going on. So
That
yeah.
was how I got my start a bit. Like Ted did that one video.
Oh
Um,
man, Ted will love to hear that. If I could talk to Ted. But
it was like he did that one video promoting the newer members,
yep.
and I'll never forget that. He's like, "This user only has 33 subscribers. They deserve a lot more." Oh, that's a terrible Ted impression. He sounds nothing like that. But
Nah, it's good.
I went from like 33 subscribers to 75
Really, that
with that,
helped?
and a
Wow.
lot of people started watching it, and I was like, "Oh, thanks. That's so good."
I remember because that was back, like I said, the community was pretty much dead. There wasn't much going on. And Ted and I,
Yeah,
every now and then we'll talk about it, look back on it, and, some of the people were like, wow, look at how much they've grown. But it's, I love to hear that the video truly did help, that we got people's names out there. And I mean, your channel's grown a lot since then.
I asked him once if I could use a clip from that for like a 5-year video, and he said yeah, but I don't think I ever used it. I might as well put it in my 7-year anniversary or
Yeah, might as
something.
well. That's coming up. You said or I said November 8th or 18th,
Yeah.
so
So,
2 months.
in 3 days and 2 months.
Yes, then you'll
Yeah.
be able to use it. Well, it's been nice talking to you, hearing about your Quest 89 series. I love hearing all your thoughts on the characters and how the seasons worked out.
Yeah. It was nice to be here.
Well, before you go, any social media or whatnot you like to plug for yourself?
Oh boy. I have an Instagram which I don't use extremely often, but there are a lot of exclusive behind the scenes things there, and all of my customs immediately go up there. I have a
Hmm.
nice like the way it's set up, like with an Instagram story, you can post it, and then like I highlight all of them and
Okay.
save it. So there's this little custom section. But
Oh, nice.
at real underscore Nick underscore TF89, all lowercase.
Okay.
And then I also have a Twitter, which, I mean, I kind of just post a bunch of nonsense there and use it to talk to people like privately.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, if you want to know when I upload something, you can see it there, and occasionally I'll post behind the scenes. But it's not like, I think Instagram would be more helpful, honestly. But if you want to follow me there or talk to me, then at NickTF89 with a lowercase f
Hmm.
is my Twitter.
All right, and then of course your YouTube channel.
Yep.
So I'll throw those all in the description. I'll throw in your wiki too. You put a lot of time into it. Somebody that is in charge of a wiki myself, the Thomas Wood and Railway Community Wiki, I appreciate seeing somebody put so much time into the wiki.
I try and spend like an hour a day of just wiki, like whenever I can.
Hmm
I have a category of pages that need editing, 106 right now, but like other than that, a lot of the pages are like up to standard, and there's a lot of useful information. Like if you can't stomach my series, if you can't sit through any of it, especially season 1, you can just like read the episode descriptions and whatnot.
hmm
Like
Yeah.
I'm currently binging my own series and editing all of it onto Connor's page
Oh,
because that's the
that's
most
a good
important
idea.
one.
I've done
So
that.
that's like a trip back in time for me.
I've done that with mine, trying to update my series page on the wiki. I haven't done it in a little bit now. Like I think I'm on. I have to do my third season next and update the characters that were in it, who debuted and whatnot. But yeah, I recommend it's a good read. There might be some pages that are incomplete, but
Yeah.
for the ones that aren't, you definitely put the time and detail into them. That's for sure.
Yeah. Also, like some pages are just made by other people, and like they'll work on them and I'll work on them, and
Hmm
some are mostly done. Like A Tale of Two Trains. Like the only thing that isn't there is the plot of the episode because I mean I didn't feel like making it. I was just gonna wait until I was done with the whole episode.
No, I do the
But
same.
you know, some of them are fun.
Yeah. Well, thank you for taking the time to come on here and talk about your series. I appreciate having you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. Well, all that said, this is episode 15 of Percy's Ever Present Past. Thank you all for listening and learning a little bit about Quest 89 and the rest of Nick's channel. All that said, this is Percy number 6, and
What was I supposed to say? Oh, Nick TF89.
signing
I
out.
wasn't sure it was happening there.
Oh, you're good. We're signing out. Thank you guys for listening. Bye.
Goodbye.